All right, just to give you a background of the city was purely set up because they found gold here on the farms in the area. So Anglo American, I don't know if you people are aware of Anglo American. Anglo American was synonymous with South Africa in terms of mining. Oppenheimers, right? So they decided to set up this town called Welkom. So it was the first, I don't know if it's the only fully planned city in the country or in the world. So everything was planned from day one. So you'll find like in this town, they had beautiful gardens, they had landscapers, they brought in the best. This is Anglo-American to lay out gardens and parks. And so you'll also find in the road network, there were no robots. There's no robots in Welkom. You got all these circles, so it's planned like that. So the circles function very effectively. So I think the town was set up in 1948, if I'm not mistaken. That's when they probably found gold here. And these people, Anglo-American, were the main drivers. They owned the mines. And just to give you some other background, is like you had the National Union of Mine Workers. That's still functioning today, right? That's the union body representing the mine workers. Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, was an organizer on the mines. He was the head of the National Union of Mine Workers. When we came here, he was still here. That was in 1988, So I think at the peak, they used to employ something like 400,000 people working because everything was labor intensive, So subsequently, we had all our political change. I don't know if you people lived through that. I don't know who's young and who's old here. I don't know what your age was. So they entered into negotiations with the ANC. In Lusaka, they started talking, the labor, ANC, and obviously these mining bosses, right? And subsequently, change started to happen. So when we came here, like when I came here, it was in 1988. We were a handful of families. Most of them came from Springs around the East Rand in Joburg, and they settled in Virginia. They were here before us, maybe 1 or 2 years before us. Virginia is only about 15 km from here. And then the rest are we came from Joburg, and then there's people from Stanger. There were no foreigners, let's put it that way. It was only, local Indian businessmen. Most of them, and there were a few professionals like doctors that came to set up a practice. All young people, all early 20s, looking for prospects. So that's how we ended up here. And then the other thing was, that there were no Indians allowed in the Free State. That was the apartheid law. So somehow the word got out that, you could do well here economically. So Indians started filtering through slowly, And then obviously then the change started happening. So initially we faced the brunt of organizations like the Afrikaner Weerstand-Beweging. I don't know if you've heard of them. So if you lived in a flat like this, they'd come at night, they park you outside your window, shine their bright lights, throw stones at your window, try and intimidate you, what you want in this place. You're not white. And the other law was that no Indians were allowed in the Free State. So they tried to keep it like that. It was a closely guarded secret. So basically white people controlled business, and obviously you had the mining houses, and then there's a big farming community, Afrikaner farming community. Subsequently, so we got the tail end. There was a gold boom. The gold price was decoupled. Currencies, you talk about fake money and like the dollar. So the gold price was decoupled. Current currencies were backed by gold. So when they decoupled that, then the gold price started going up. So this area had a tremendous boom because money was just flying around left, right, and center. So obviously businessmen made a lot of money at that time. And then for some reason, after the change, I don't know if it's politics or what, Anglo-American pulled out of the town totally. They sold up some of their assets, and they're doing other things now, obviously. So now what you have one company called Harmony. You must have heard of Harmony. So the methods of mining has changed now. From labor intensive, they use machines now. So machine mining. They use a lot of labor still, but not they probably have about maybe maximum 50,000 people on the mines, from 400,000 to 50,000, So that's a big decline in terms of labor. But the amazing thing was the labor was coming from outside. They had the migrant labor system. So you had people from Mozambique, you had people from Malawi, all north of our border that were doing the mining. For some reason, our local black people didn't want to go underground. I don't know what fear they have. So even now, when you find this illegal mining going on, it's mostly the outsiders that are conducting that activity because they prepared to go, in those harsh conditions. It's quite hot down there to go down without any equipment, but they prepared to do that. But locals, for some reason, they don't want to do that. So there's a lot of now, you got this one mining company called Harmony, and then obviously you got all this illegal mining going on. They're trying to clamp down, but that's still going on, yeah. And then, what else can I tell you? That local people started going out. We now getting old, yeah. Like I came young, I'm gone grey. So we got a lot of foreigners that came in, all nationalities, Indians, Pakistanis, Bengalis, Somalis. So you name them, they started coming in. So although the local the local Muslim population probably declined tremendously, but the foreign contingent, that has increased. So just to put it in perspective, like when we built this mosque, we thought it was too big for us. People actually castigated us to say that you are wasting money. Why are you building this mosque here? You are so few. So today you saw that the mosque is fairly full. It would have been full, but now we just opened a musalla in town. I don't know if one of you guys went to town. So actually the facilities are gone. They're not enough now, like all the foreign Muslims that have come in. And then obviously we opened a musalla in a masjid in the township. We got that, and then one in the so-called colored area. So a lot of things are happening from an Islamic point of view.